Did you know that federal land could actually help us cover our public school funding here in the state of Idaho? When Idaho was created, we got about 2 million acres in land from the federal government, and this land was tied directly to our public schools. Idaho has grown that amount of land to 2.5 million acres, and we've put it in a permanent endowment fund. This fund is used to invest, and then the revenues generated from this fund are then used to fund the public schools. Last year, we got about $100 million out of the permanent endowment fund for the public schools. Now, Idaho generated about $80 million of that revenue we generated through timber operations, through mineral rights leases that we have on those 2.5 million acres. Now, here's where we can do a little bit of math. So Idaho is generating between $80 and $100 million a year in revenue on our permanent endowment fund. And that's about 10%. We're making about a 10% return on investment on those 2.5 million acres, which is good. It's very, very good. The federal government maintains 12 million acres of Bureau of Land Management land. In 2019, the federal government made $5.5 million managing that land. So you get $5.5 million from 12 million acres when the feds manage it. But when Idaho manages 2.5 million acres, we get $80 million. And that's just from the minerals and timber. That's not even to speak of the interest that we're accruing on other things. So when people say that people that want Idaho to control our land and be sovereign, that we just want to sell the land off for developers, we want to strip mine it and cut down all the trees, that's simply not true. Idaho has been managing that 2.5 million acres of land very prudently. We've been very environmentally conscious, and we're generating 84 times more revenue on our land than the federal government can generate on their land. And we could, if you consider that, we could get 84 times more revenue in the permanent endowment fund if we could just obtain sovereignty over that land. We could dramatically reduce the income tax. We could dramatically reduce the property tax, and we could entirely do away with school levies. And it would be of significant benefit to rural schools that often get overlooked in the funding mechanism. But it all starts with Idaho getting control of that federal land. The numbers are there, folks. We can fully fund the public schools. We can manage the land well, but we've got to get the federal government out of the way.